relationships we build between generations are critical. These relationships are most important if we want to bridge the cultural changes that are upon us. Here we have the true meeting of the minds, the blending of a senior's time-tested experience with youthful, out-of-the-box, imaginative idealism and enthusiasm on topics that are meaningful to both generations. It's so vitally important that we have this conversation.
Ideas should be debated, but respect for the persons delivering the ideas must be maintained. In practice, I believe that standards of decorum should be followed. Political debates must be focused on ideas of substance, not on character assassinations.
And to start acts of civility, you have to start small, I think. Listening to someone without interrupting someone, letting someone express their opinion, especially someone whose opinion you are diametrically opposed to. Listening to someone and then answering them in a calm way to express your opinion.
Once we realize the effect that we have on other people, that is where our progress is going to come.
Solving the rise in incivility in our country starts from the ground level. It starts at forums like this, it starts in our schools, and eventually it'll reach the entire nation.
It's not communication until you send a message, it is received, understood, and acted on. Look at 90% of what's being transmitted on social media, and it doesn't meet that criteria. Second thing that concerns me the most is lack of tonality. There's no tonality in a text.
Language is forever changing, and I personally think that it's awesome that we can somewhat express our feelings and emojis and stuff, but I do believe there is a fine line, and we need to sometimes put down our screens and realize the world that is in front of us. But thankfully to digital communication, it expands our world.
I think that we're also losing the ability to really have a deep, meaningful conversation, that's face-to-face, and where I can really relate to you as a person, not just through a screen or through an emoji or whatever, but through deep personal conversation. So I think that while the technology has brought some tangible benefits, it's ultimately harming our ability to relate to one another.
It's an economic problem, it's a social problem, and it's a problem of who we are as a nation. We are a nation of immigrants. We have to keep that front and center.
Many Americans believe that America is the greatest nation on earth, and we advertise ourselves that way. So of course people are going to want to come here for the opportunity and the dreams that we describe. The process to citizenship is really difficult. And I'm not saying I believe that it should be easier, because they did somewhat cheat their way, but I believe that deporting them is unjust as well, and we should be welcoming.
Immigrants are part of the American fabric. However, I also do not condone breaking the law. But that aside, practical and financial considerations far outweigh political considerations in this topic.
I found the things the young people had to say that were eye-opening to me, in the sense that at least these four young people are much more attuned to current events, the world, and boy, I hope like crazy that they're reflective of the other young people in their representative group. I can't applaud them enough. I'm happy to be associated with them tonight.
I think what the coolest thing about tonight was that we see our generations as being completely separate. Like younger generations and have completely different values than older generations do. But I think what's really cool is that we seem to be in agreement with a lot of different things. And there were a lot of different commonalities with every single person who was on this panel.
The talent depth of this group of young men and women is frightening. Because if that's the caliber of people that are going to be running things in this state, in this country, in the next 20 years. I feel pretty darn good about it. And I expect to see all your names in lights in the next 5 years. Nicely done.